The information provided in this video is for educational and entertainment purposes only and does not constitute professional marketing, legal, or financial advice. Marketing results are subject to numerous variables including market conditions, industry niche, and execution. Historical trends suggest that while certain strategies have been effective for many businesses, potential outcomes are not uniform and individual results will vary. Viewers are strongly encouraged to conduct their own due diligence and consult with qualified professionals regarding compliance with the CAN-SPAM Act, the California Consumer Privacy Act, and other relevant data privacy regulations before implementing any email marketing campaigns. Right now, as you watch this, you are likely building your local business on a foundation of quicksand. You have spent years and thousands of dollars meticulously crafting a presence on platforms like Facebook, Instagram, or TikTok. You have chased the latest algorithm trends, danced for the camera, and paid increasing amounts for sponsored posts just to reach the people who already said they wanted to follow you. But here is the cold, hard reality that most local business owners in the United States refuse to face. You do not own your audience. If an algorithm shifts tomorrow, or if a platform decides your content no longer fits its monetization model, your connection to your customers could vanish in an instant. This is not a hypothetical scenario. Historical trends show us that organic reach on major social platforms has plummeted to less than 5% for most business pages. You are essentially renting your customers from a digital landlord who can evict you without notice. However, there is a hidden asset that most local businesses, from the family-owned plumbing company in Ohio to the high-end boutique in Miami, are completely ignoring. It is a channel that is often dismissed as old school, yet it consistently outperforms every other digital marketing medium by a massive margin. I am talking about email marketing. While social media platforms fluctuate, the email inbox remains the most private, direct, and stable piece of digital real estate on the planet. According to various industry case studies, email marketing has shown the potential for a return on investment of $36 to $42 for every single dollar spent. If you are not utilizing this, you are effectively leaving a mountain of revenue on the table every single month. The problem is that most local business owners think email marketing is only for massive e-commerce giants like Amazon or Wayfair. They think, I am just a local chiropractor, or I just run a landscaping business. Why would anyone want an email from me? This mindset is exactly why your competitors are struggling while a few select businesses in your area are quietly dominating the market. In this deep dive masterclass, we are going to bridge that gap. We are going to stop the bleeding and show you exactly how to turn a simple list of names and addresses into a predictable, automated revenue engine that works even when your shop doors are locked. By the time we finish this first part of our masterclass, you will understand the fundamental shift happening in the U.S. local business landscape. We are moving away from the era of shout marketing, where you yell at everyone on social media hoping someone hears you, and moving into the era of direct relationship marketing. The goal today is to provide you with the framework to build a digital asset that you actually own. This is about security, predictability, and localized dominance. We are going to explore why the U.S. consumer reacts differently to email than any other form of advertising, and how you can leverage that psychology to ensure that when a local resident needs a service, your business is the only one they think of. To understand the weight of this opportunity, we have to look at the current state of local search and discovery in the United States. Most local businesses rely on what we call hope marketing. They hope the Google business profile shows up in the 3-pack. They hope the Yelp reviews stay positive. They hope that someone scrolling through a feed happens to see their post. This is a reactive way to run a business. Email marketing allows you to be proactive. Instead of waiting for the customer to realize they have a problem, you are staying top of mind so that you are the preemptive solution. Consider a case study of a local hardware store in suburban Illinois. For years, they relied on circulars and local newspaper ads. As those mediums declined, they moved to Facebook. Their reach was inconsistent. On rainy days when they should have been selling some pumps and weatherproofing gear, their posts were buried under national news and memes. They began a simple initiative to collect emails at the point of sale by offering a digital home maintenance checklist. Within 6 months, they had a list of 2,000 local homeowners. The next time a storm was forecasted, they didn't post on Facebook and hope for the best. They sent a direct email at 7 a.m. titled, "Is your basement ready for tonight's storm?" By noon, they had sold out of some pumps. That is the power of an owned audience. It turns your marketing from a gamble into a precision tool. In this series, we are going to break down the mechanics of how you, as a local U.S. business owner, can replicate these results without needing a massive marketing department or a degree in computer science. We are going to look at the specific types of emails that work for local niches, the legal requirements you must follow to stay compliant with US law, and the simple tech stack that allows you to automate 90% of the work. We must also address the email is dead myth. You might hear people say that younger generations don't use email, or that inboxes are too cluttered. The data suggests otherwise. In the United States, over 90% of adults use email daily, and a significant majority of consumers report that they prefer receiving promotional content via email over any other channel. Why? Because email is permission-based. When someone gives you their email address, they are giving you an invitation to their digital home. It is a sign of trust that is far more significant than a like or a follow. This masterclass is designed to take you from zero to a fully functional email strategy. We aren't just talking about sending a monthly newsletter that no one reads. We are talking about strategic touchpoints. The welcome sequence that introduces a new neighbor to your services, the re-engagement campaign that brings back customers who haven't visited in 6 months, and the review request system that skyrockets your local SEO. The potential outcomes for your business are significant. Imagine having a slow Tuesday at your restaurant and being able to send a Tuesday tasting invite to 500 local foodies, filling your tables by 6 p.m. Imagine being a local accountant and filling your tax season calendar in 48 hours because you sent a helpful new tax credits update to your list. This is the level of control we are aiming for. We are entering a phase of the U.S. economy where efficiency is everything. As customer acquisition costs on advertising platforms continue to rise, the businesses that survive and thrive will be those that can communicate with their existing customers for free. Email allows you to do exactly that. It is the only platform where you aren't penalized for having a direct relationship with your audience. So, as we move forward, I want you to shift your perspective. Stop thinking of yourself as just a service provider or a retailer. Start thinking of yourself as a media company that happens to sell plumbing, or legal advice, or cupcakes. Your email list is your most valuable product because it is the bridge to every other sale you will ever make. This part of the script is your wake-up call. The era of relying on big tech to deliver your customers is over. It is time to take ownership of your data, your relationships, and your local market. We are going to build your list, craft your message, and secure your business's future, one inbox at a time. To understand how to actually start building this revenue engine, we must first confront the biggest lie in digital marketing, the idea that people want to join your newsletter. In 2026, the average US consumer is bombarded with thousands of digital touchpoints every single day. Their inbox is a sacred space, and they guard it with more ferocity than ever before. If you have a box on your website that says sign up for our newsletter or stay updated on our latest news, you are likely seeing a conversion rate of less than 1%. This is because a newsletter implies work for the reader. It implies more clutter and more noise without a specific, immediate benefit. To build a massive, high-quality list for your local business, you have to stop asking for a subscription and start offering a transformation. Historical trends in local marketing show that the most successful businesses use what we call a value exchange or an ethical bribe. This is a specific, high-value piece of information or a tangible incentive that solves a localized problem in exchange for an email address. Imagine a character named Marcus who owns a high-end fitness center in Austin, Texas. In the early 2020s, Marcus relied on high-spend Instagram ads to get people through his doors. By 2026, the cost per click has risen so high that his margins are being squeezed. Marcus shifts his strategy. Instead of running an ad that says "Join my gym," he creates a digital asset titled The Busy Austin Professional's Guide to 15-Minute Home Workouts. This guide is specifically tailored to his local demographic, people in Austin who are stuck in traffic on Mopac or I-35 and struggle to find time for the gym. Because the value is immediate and hyperlocal, his conversion rate on his website jumps from 0.5% to 12%. Marcus is no longer just a gym owner. He is a local authority providing solutions. This is the first step for your business. You must identify the single biggest pain point your local customers face and offer a micro solution that can be consumed in under 5 minutes. If you are a local plumber in Philadelphia, your lead magnet could be a 5-point winterization checklist to prevent burst pipes during a Pennsylvania freeze. If you run a boutique law firm in Charlotte, it might be a 2026 guide to new small business regulations in North Carolina. The goal is to move the prospect from a stranger to a lead by providing massive upfront value. Case studies across various sectors suggest that a well-crafted lead magnet can increase lead generation by 300% compared to a generic contact form. Let us look at the step-by-step process of creating this asset. First, you need to conduct a local pain point audit. Look at your most frequently asked questions. Look at the local news. What are people in your specific zip code worried about right now? Once you have that topic, you create a simple, clean PDF or a short video. It does not need to be a Hollywood production or a 50-page ebook. In fact, shorter is often better in 2026 because people value their time above all else. A one-page cheat sheet or a 3-minute video titled "The 3 Things Every Homeowner in Scottsdale Should Know Before Hiring a Landscaper" is infinitely more valuable than a generic brochure. Next, you need a high-converting landing page. For a local business, this does not need to be complex. It should have one headline that focuses on the benefit, 3 bullet points that explain what they will learn, and a simple form asking for their name and email address. Avoid asking for too much information up front. Historical data indicates that every extra field you add to a form, like phone number or street address, can drop your conversion rate by as much as 10 to 15%. In this initial stage, the email is the most valuable currency. Now imagine if you are Sarah, who owns a specialty bakery in Denver. Sarah knows that her customers care about 2 things: saving money on their weekly treats and knowing when the limited-run seasonal flavors are released. Sarah implements a simple pop-up on her site that says get a free salted caramel brownie on your next visit when you join the Denver Cookie Club. This is a classic local incentive. It drives physical foot traffic while capturing the digital lead. But Sarah takes it a step further. On the thank you page, she tells them to check their inbox for a secret recipe for her famous gluten-free frosting. Now she has not only given them a reason to visit her shop, but she has also trained them to open her emails. The technical implementation of this has become incredibly streamlined by 2026. You no longer need a dedicated IT person to set this up. Tools like MailChimp, Constant Contact, or specialized local CRM platforms allow you to drag and drop these forms onto your site in minutes. The key is placement. You want your offer to be visible but not intrusive. A slide inbox on the bottom right of the screen or a dedicated link in your social media bios is often more effective than a giant pop-up that blocks the entire screen the second someone lands on the page. We must also discuss the psychology of the US consumer when it comes to local trust. People in the United States are increasingly skeptical of national brands and are shifting their loyalty toward local experts. By providing a lead magnet that demonstrates your expertise, you are building a bridge of trust before a single dollar is ever exchanged. This is particularly vital for service-based businesses like HVAC, roofing, or professional services. Potential outcomes for businesses that lead with education include a shorter sales cycle and a higher average transaction value, because the customer already views you as the expert rather than a commodity. However, collecting the email is only half the battle. Many local businesses make the mistake of collecting hundreds of emails and then doing nothing with them for 3 months. This is a fast way to get marked as spam. The moment someone downloads your lead magnet, the clock starts ticking. Their interest is at its absolute peak the second they click that download button. If you wait a week to contact them, they have already forgotten who you are. This is where automation becomes your best friend. As we move into the next phase of this masterclass, we are going to look at what happens the millisecond after that email is entered into your system. Most people think they should start selling immediately. That is a mistake that can lead to high unsubscribe rates. Instead, there is a specific 3-part sequence that every local business in America should be using to turn a cold lead into a warm, paying customer without ever sounding like a pushy salesperson. Imagine if every person who walked past your store or visited your website was automatically followed up with by your best salesperson, delivering the perfect message at the perfect time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That is what we are going to build. But before we get to the automation, you have to ensure your lead magnet is so good that people would have actually paid for it. Ask yourself this: if you charge $5 for the information you are giving away for free, would people feel like they got a deal? If the answer is no, go back and make it better. Add more local data, include a list of your favorite local vendors, or provide a map of specific resources in your city. The more local and specific it is, the higher your conversion rate will be. In the next part, we are going to dive into the invisible machine. We will explore the exact structure of the welcome sequence that has helped local businesses across the country scale their revenue while they sleep. We will break down why your first email should never be a sales pitch, and the one specific question you must ask every new subscriber to ensure they keep opening your emails for years to come. If you have ever wondered why some emails get opened and others get deleted instantly, the answer lies in the psychological triggers we are about to uncover. What is the one word you should never put in a subject line if you want to stay out of the promotions tab? And how can a simple 2-sentence email generate more leads than a $1,000 ad campaign? We are covering all of that and more as we move into the mechanics of high conversion automation. The single word that is likely killing your deliverability in 2026 is help, or sometimes even free when used in all capital letters. Historical trends in artificial intelligence-driven spam filters show that these words, once staples of marketing, are now immediate red flags for Gmail and Outlook. When an ISP sees a subject line that looks like a desperate shout for attention, it does not matter if you are a local business owner with the best intentions. You are going into the promotions tab or worse, the spam folder. To ensure your message actually reaches a human being, your subject lines must look like an email from a friend. This is the foundation of the invisible machine. The first step in this high conversion automation is the immediate delivery of your lead magnet. We call this the welcome email, but in 2026 it serves a dual purpose. It is not just about giving them the PDF or the video link. It is about establishing a technical relationship with their email provider. Imagine if you are Jackson, a roofing contractor in Nashville. A homeowner just downloaded your guide on how to spot hail damage after a Tennessee spring storm. Jackson's automated system sends an email within 60 seconds. The subject line is not "Download your free Nashville hail damage guide here." That is too transactional. Instead, Jackson uses a subject line that says, "Hail guide for you as requested." It is all lowercase. It looks personal. Inside that first email, Jackson does something brilliant that every local business should copy. He provides the link, but then he adds a PS that says, "Just to make sure this reached you okay, could you hit reply and let me know which neighborhood you are in? I am trying to see which parts of Nashville got hit the hardest last night." This is the Socratic question. When that homeowner replies and says, "I am in East Nashville," two things happen. First, Jackson gets a massive boost in his sender reputation. The ISP sees that a user replied to him, which signals that Jackson is a trusted sender. His future emails will now bypass the promotions tab and land in the primary inbox. Second, Jackson just got a warm lead that is now a two-way conversation. Potential outcomes for businesses using this reply-back strategy include a 40% increase in overall deliverability across the entire lifecycle of the subscriber. Once you have established that initial connection, you move into the second part of the automation, the logic of the bridge. Most local businesses stop after the first email, or they start hammering the subscriber with sales offers. Historical trends suggest that this causes a massive spike in unsubscribes within the first 48 hours. Instead, you should wait exactly 24 hours and send the "Who I Am and Why I Care" email. This is where you humanize your local brand. Imagine if you are Dr. Elena, a chiropractor in a suburb of Atlanta. Her second email does not talk about spinal adjustments or insurance billing. Instead, she tells a story about why she became a chiropractor. She talks about a specific high school sports injury that almost cost her a scholarship, and how a local specialist helped her recover. This creates a psychological phenomenon known as the halo effect. When local customers feel they know the person behind the business, they are less likely to price shop. They are not looking for a generic service. They are looking for Dr. Elena. In this email, you should include a photo of yourself or your team in your local environment. Show your shop front. Show your team at a local charity event. In 2026, authenticity is the highest value currency. People want to support local businesses that are part of their community fabric. Step by step, this email should follow a simple structure. The hook, which is the personal story. The pivot, which connects your story to the customer's current problem. And the soft call to action, which invites them to follow you on a social platform or read a specific blog post. The third email in your sequence, typically sent 48 hours after the second, is the social proof engine. This is where you let your existing customers do the selling for you. But do not just copy and paste a 5-star review. Create a mini case study. If you are a local landscaper, describe a yard that was a complete mess. Overgrown, drainage issues, dead grass, and then describe the transformation. Use the customer's names and mention the specific neighborhood. Seeing that you have worked on 5th Street or in the Highlands neighborhood creates a sense of localized trust that a national franchise can never replicate. Now, let us talk about the 2-sentence email that can generate more leads than a $1,000 ad campaign. This is often called the 9-word email. and it is the most powerful tool in your automation arsenal for re-engaging people who have gone quiet. Imagine if you have a list of 200 people who inquired about your services 6 months ago but never booked. Instead of sending a long, beautiful newsletter with graphics and headers, you send a plain text email with the subject line, "Quick question." The body of the email says, "Hi Sarah, are you still looking for a new roof for your home in Nashville? Thanks, Jackson." That is it. No links, no images, no sales pitch. Case studies have shown that this specific format triggers a massive response rate because it feels like a personal check-in. In 2026, people are tired of being marketed to, but they still love to be served. This short email cuts through the noise because it requires a simple yes or no answer. Even if they say no, you have cleared your list of an unengaged lead. If they say yes, you are back in a live sales conversation. Potential outcomes from a single 9-word email campaign have been known to reactivate 10 to 15% of a dead database within 24 hours. To make all of this work, you must understand the technical shift toward mobile-first email design. In the United States today, over 70% of local business emails are opened on a smartphone. This means your emails must be short, with large, clickable buttons and no complex multi-column layouts. If your email looks like a cluttered newspaper on a phone screen, it will be deleted before the first sentence is read. Every email in your automation should be tested on both an iPhone and an Android device to ensure the text is legible and the links are easy to hit with a thumb. As we move deeper into this masterclass, we have to look at the fuel that keeps this machine running long-term. You have the lead magnet, you have the welcome sequence, and you have the re-engagement triggers. But how do you stay top of mind without being annoying? How do you provide enough value so that when a local resident finally has a need, your business is the only logical choice? There is a specific rhythm to local email marketing that balances education with promotion, and it involves something we call the localized value loop. What if I told you there is a way to get other local businesses to grow your email list for you for free, while also making you the most well-connected person in your city? And what is the one mistake local businesses make with their subject lines that actually gets them banned from the inbox entirely? In the next part, we are going to dive into the art of the weekly update and the secret to local partnerships that can double your list in 30 days. We are moving from the setup phase into the scale phase where the real growth begins. What is the specific content calendar that keeps people opening your emails for years? And how do you use local events to create a viral loop in your own backyard? We are uncovering the blueprint for local fame in Part 4. To achieve local fame in 2026, you must stop acting like a business and start acting like a digital mayor. The biggest mistake local businesses in the United States make is treating their email list as a one-way megaphone for their own promotions. If your only emails are about your sales, your discounts, or your new product arrivals, you are not building a relationship. You are just adding to the noise. The blueprint for local dominance requires you to pivot toward the localized value loop. This is a strategy where you become the primary source of neighborhood intelligence. People may not need a plumber every week, and they may not need a new lawyer every month, but they are always interested in what is happening in their own backyard. Imagine a character named Liam who owns a mid-sized residential painting company in Raleigh, North Carolina. In 2026, Liam realizes that the cost of acquiring a new customer through Google search has become prohibitive. Instead of fighting for the same expensive keywords as everyone else, he decides to dominate the inboxes of local homeowners. Liam starts a weekly email called the Raleigh Weekend Guide. Every Thursday at 10 a.m. he sends a short, plain text email that highlights 3 local events: a farmer's market in North Hills, a high school football rivalry game, and a new coffee shop opening downtown. At the very bottom of the email, he includes a simple one-sentence mention of his business. This guide is brought to you by Liam at Heritage Painting. We are currently booking exterior refreshes for the fall season. Historical trends show that this community-first approach results in open rates that are double or even triple the industry average. Because Liam is providing a service that has nothing to do with painting, he becomes a welcome guest in the inbox. When one of those homeowners eventually notices their shutters are peeling, they do not go to Google to find a painter. They simply hit reply to the guy who tells them where to get the best local espresso. This is the localized value loop in action. You are trading community intelligence for long-term brand equity. To implement this, you need a structured content calendar that balances value and promotion. In a 4-week cycle, your cadence should look like this. Week 1 is the local spotlight. You feature another local business, a park, or a community leader. This builds social currency. Week 2 is the expert tip. If you are a local mechanic in Columbus, Ohio, You send an email about how the local humidity levels affect tire pressure. This establishes your authority. Week 3 is the behind-the-scenes or human element. You share a photo of your team at a local charity walk or introduce a new staff member. This builds trust. Week 4 is the direct offer. This is where you provide a specific incentive for your subscribers to take action, such as a seasonal inspection or a local-only bundle. By the time you get to week 4, you have earned the right to ask for the sale because you have spent the previous 3 weeks giving without taking. Now let us talk about the fastest way to double your list without spending a dime on ads: the local partnership email swap. In 2026, the most successful small businesses in America are those that form digital alliances. Imagine Chloe, who runs a boutique yoga studio in Portland, Oregon. She identifies a local health food store and a high-end athletic wear boutique in her same neighborhood. They share the same target demographic, but are not direct competitors. Chloe reaches out to the owners with a specific proposal. She does not ask to be in their newsletter. Instead, she offers to write a high-value, 50-word tip on morning mobility for their audience, which includes a link to a free introductory video on her site. In exchange, she offers to feature their best-selling organic smoothie or their latest legging drop in her own weekly email. Step by step, the execution of this partnership is critical. You must ensure that the transition is seamless. The email should say something like, "I was chatting with the folks over at the local health food store yesterday, and they gave me a tip on post-workout recovery that I just had to share with you." This makes the recommendation feel like a personal referral rather than a paid advertisement. Case studies of local businesses using this cross-pollination strategy show potential outcomes of a 20 to 30% increase in list size within a single month. It works because you are borrowing the trust that another business has already spent years building. However, as you grow, you must be hyper-vigilant about the subject line mistakes that can lead to an ISP ban. By 2026, email providers have become incredibly sophisticated at detecting patterns of engagement. One of the most dangerous things you can do is use deceptive subject lines. Historical trends indicate that the old-school trick of starting a subject line with "re" or "forward" to make it look like an existing conversation will get you flagged for spam faster than almost anything else. It might yield a high open rate for one day, but the moment the user realizes they were tricked, they will hit the spam button. In 2026, a high spam report to open ratio will cause Gmail to black hole your entire domain, meaning even your personal business emails won't get through. Another fatal error is the shouty subject line. Avoid using all capital letters and avoid using more than one exclamation point. Instead, lean into curiosity and localization. A subject line like, "The new park on 5th Street" or a question for Columbus homeowners is far more effective than 50% off everything today only. The former invites a conversation. The latter looks like a digital flyer that belongs in the trash. As your list grows to include different types of customers, you must begin the process of segmentation. In a large U.S. city, a resident in the suburbs has different needs than a resident in the urban core. If you are a home service provider, sending an email about lawn care to a list of apartment dwellers is a quick way to lose subscribers. In 2026, most email platforms allow you to tag your users based on their zip code or the specific lead magnet they downloaded. By sending smaller, more targeted batches of emails, you maintain a higher relevance score. This is where the real scale happens. Imagine if you could look at your database and see exactly who in the north side of your city is interested in kitchen remodeling, while knowing exactly who on the south side is looking for bathroom updates. You are no longer guessing, you are reacting to data. But there is a technical hurdle that most local businesses trip over when they start to scale. It is the transition from a manual list to a fully automated behavioral system. How do you set up an email that sends itself only when a customer visits a specific page on your website, without looking like a creepy stalker? And what is the one specific Friday afternoon email that has the potential to drive more foot traffic to a physical location than a full-page newspaper ad? In the next part, we are going to dive into the world of behavioral triggers and the Friday foot traffic formula. We will explore how to use the local weather forecast to automate your sales and the secret to getting a 90% open rate by using the most underutilized tool in the local marketing shed, the SMS to email bridge. We are moving into the high-tech, high-touch strategies that separate the local legends from the local ghosts in Part 5. By 2026, the local business owner who wins is the one who understands that timing is more important than the offer itself. You could have the best product in the world, But if you send an email about it while your customer is in a high-stress Monday morning meeting, it will be deleted without a second thought. This is why we move into the realm of behavioral triggers and the Friday foot traffic formula. This strategy is designed to synchronize your business with the natural rhythm of the American work week. Let us start with the Friday foot traffic formula. Historical trends show that the period between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. on a Friday is the golden window for local retail and hospitality in the United States. This is when the average worker is mentally checking out of their professional responsibilities and shifting their focus toward weekend plans. Imagine a character named Derek who owns a boutique barbecue joint in Kansas City. For years, Derek sent his promotional emails on Tuesday mornings because he heard that was the best time for open rates. The problem? By the time Friday rolled around, everyone had forgotten about his Tuesday email. In 2026, Derek shifts his strategy. He implements the Friday foot traffic formula. At exactly 1:45 p.m. every Friday, his system sends a plain text email with the subject line, "Smoke smells good today." The body of the email is simple. "Hi, Derek here. Just pulled the briskets off the smoker and the bark is perfect. I have reserved 40 extra portions for our email family. If you come in tonight and show this email, the first round of cornbread is on me. See you soon." This works because it hits the customer right as they are deciding what to do for dinner. It creates a specific, localized urgency that a national chain cannot match. Step by step, the formula requires 3 elements: the mental state of the customer, an immediate sensory hook, and a low-friction incentive. Derek does not offer a massive discount. He offers a small, high-perceived value item like cornbread, which keeps his margins healthy while driving massive foot traffic. Case studies of local businesses using this Friday-specific timing show potential outcomes of a 25% increase in weekend revenue compared to midweek promotional sends. But what if you want to be even more precise? This is where behavioral triggers come in. Imagine you are a local real estate agent in Denver named Maya. In 2026, Maya uses a tracking pixel on her website that communicates with her email service provider. When a subscriber on her list visits her website and looks at the same property listing 3 times in 24 hours, a trigger is tripped. However, Maya knows that being too direct is creepy. She does not send an email saying, "I saw you looking at 123 Maple Street." That is a fast way to lose trust. Instead, Maya's system sends an automated email 4 hours later with the subject line, "Quick resource for your search." The email says, "Hi. I was just updating my files and thought you might find this neighborhood report for the Highlands area interesting. It covers the latest school ratings and some upcoming zoning changes. Let me know if you want to see any of these places in person this weekend." This is the help not hype approach. By 2026, behavioral data allows you to see intent without being invasive. You are providing a resource that aligns with their demonstrated interest. Historical data suggests that triggered emails based on site behavior have a 70% higher open rate than standard broadcast emails because the relevance is at an all-time high. To set this up, you need to install a simple snippet of code from your email provider on your site and define your triggers. Start small. Trigger an email when someone visits your pricing page but does not book a consultation, or when a customer looks at a specific service page like water heater repair more than twice. Now let us discuss the most underutilized tool in the 2026 marketing shed, the SMS to email bridge. We know that SMS has a 98% open rate, but it is also very intrusive. If you text a customer a long-form marketing message, they will likely block you. Email, on the other hand, allows for long-form storytelling and education. The bridge combines the two. Imagine you are Carlos, who owns a high-end auto detailing shop in Miami. Carlos knows that when a tropical storm is about to hit, people worry about their cars. He uses an SMS trigger that sends a text to his local list. "Hey, it is Carlos. Just sent you an email with the 3 things you need to do to protect your car's finish during this storm. Check your inbox for the subject, storm prep." Carlos has used the high visibility of SMS to drive people into the high-value environment of email. He is not selling anything in the text. He is providing an alert that leads to a deep-dive educational piece. Inside the email, he explains the science of saltwater damage and then offers a priority booking for a protective ceramic coating once the storm passes. This bridge ensures that his most important messages are never missed. Potential outcomes for businesses using this multi-channel approach include a 50% increase in total campaign engagement. The next layer of this high-tech strategy is weather-based automation. In 2026, Tools like Zapier or specialized local marketing APIs allow you to connect local weather forecasts directly to your email triggers. If you are an HVAC company in Phoenix and the forecast calls for the first 110-degree day of the year, your system can automatically fire off an email at 7 a.m. that morning titled, "Will your AC survive today?" If you are a pet supply store in Seattle, and it has been raining for 5 consecutive days, you trigger an email about indoor enrichment toys to keep dogs from getting bored. This is hyperlocal, hyper-relevant marketing that requires zero manual effort once the logic is set up. You are essentially letting the environment dictate your sales strategy. To make these advanced strategies work, you must maintain a clean database. In 2026, sending emails to people who never open them is not just a waste of money. It actively hurts your ability to reach the people who do want to hear from you. You should implement an automated sunset policy. If a subscriber has not opened an email in 90 days, they are automatically moved to a re-engagement sequence. If they do not respond to that, they are removed from the list entirely. It is better to have a list of 500 raving fans than 5,000 people who ignore you. Historical trends show that smaller, highly engaged lists consistently generate more revenue than bloated, unresponsive ones. As we move forward, we are going to explore how to take all of these technical triggers and pair them with the most powerful force in modern marketing: artificial intelligence. How can you use AI in 2026 to write personalized emails for every single person on your list without spending all day at your computer? And how do you ensure that an AI-generated email still sounds like it came from a local business owner with a heart and a soul? In the next part, we are going to look at the AI content multiplier. We will break down the exact prompts you should be using to generate a month's worth of local content in 15 minutes. We will also reveal the one thing you should never let an AI do in your email marketing, if you want to keep your reputation intact. We are moving into the future of efficiency, where your business runs on autopilot, while still feeling personal to every neighbor in your town. What is the secret to making an automated email feel like a handwritten note? That is exactly what we are covering in Part 6. To make an automated email feel like a handwritten note in 2026, you must embrace the principle of intentional imperfection. The primary reason most automated emails from local businesses fail is that they look too perfect. They use high-resolution header images, perfectly centered logos, and polished marketing speak that screams, "I am a mass-produced broadcast." In an era where artificial intelligence can generate a million generic marketing emails in seconds, the American consumer has developed a subconscious filter for anything that looks corporate. The secret to bypassing this filter is to lean into the AI content multiplier while maintaining a strictly human finish. Historical trends in the mid-2020s showed that as AI-generated content flooded the web, engagement rates for highly polished newsletters began to plummet. Conversely, plain text emails that appeared to be typed by a busy business owner on their smartphone saw a significant resurgence in open and reply rates. This is where we begin our deep dive into the AI content multiplier. This is not about letting an AI run your marketing. It is about using AI as a highly efficient drafting intern that you then oversee as the executive editor. Imagine a character named Robert who owns a local independent bookstore in a historic district of Savannah, Georgia. Robert is an expert on literature but has very little time to sit down and write a weekly update. In 2026, Robert uses a 3-step AI prompting framework to generate his content. First, he creates a local context file. This is a simple document he feeds into his AI tool that contains his business values, his personal story, the names of his employees, and a list of local landmarks near his shop. This ensures the AI never suggests a generic coffee shop, when it should be mentioning the specific cafe across the street where his customers go. Step 1 of the multiplier is the idea extraction. Instead of staring at a blank screen, Robert records a 2-minute voice memo on his phone while he is opening the shop. He mentions a new shipment of Southern Gothic novels, a funny interaction he had with a regular customer named Mrs. Higgins, and the fact that the local azaleas are starting to bloom. He uploads this transcript to his AI tool with a specific prompt. Using my local context file, turn this transcript into a 3-part email. Use a casual, neighborly tone. Do not use corporate jargon. Mention Mrs. Higgins and the blooming azaleas. The potential outcomes of this approach are profound. Robert has just outsourced 90% of the mental labor of writing. The AI provides a skeleton that includes a hook, a localized story, and a call to action. However, the critical step is the human overlay. Robert spends 5 minutes reading the draft. He changes a word here and there to match his actual speaking voice. He adds a specific detail about a pothole on Liberty Street that everyone in town is talking about. This small, hyperlocal addition is something no AI could reliably know, and it serves as a digital watermark of authenticity. Case studies from local service providers like Maria, a pet groomer in Seattle, show that this hybrid approach can increase click-through rates by as much as 25%. Maria uses AI to draft educational pieces about pet health, but she always adds a PS mentioning the current weather in Seattle. If it has been a particularly rainy week, she adds a line about how to keep a dog's paws clean in the mud. This makes the email feel immediate and lived in. Now let us look at the technical side of the AI content multiplier. In 2026, you can use AI to assist with segmentation at scale. Instead of writing one email for everyone, you can prompt the AI to take your base message and create 3 variations. For Maria's pet grooming business, she has one version for dog owners, one for cat owners, and one for people who have both. The AI handles the heavy lifting of rewriting the tips to be species-specific, while maintaining the same core message about her upcoming weekend special. This level of personalization used to take hours, now it takes seconds. But there is a dangerous trap here. There is one thing you should never let an AI do in your email marketing. You should never let it handle your customer service or sensitive feedback without human eyes. If a customer replies to your automated email with a complaint or a complex question, an AI-generated response often feels cold and dismissive. Historical trends suggest that the moment a customer realizes they are talking to a bot during a moment of friction, their trust in the brand evaporates. Always ensure that replies to your marketing emails go to a real inbox monitored by a real person. The AI content multiplier also extends to your subject lines. Instead of guessing what will work, you can give your AI tool your email body and ask it to generate 10 subject line options based on the Curiosity Benefit Urgency framework. But here is the 2026 pro tip. Tell the AI to write them as if they were being sent to a friend. You want subject lines like, "That book we talked about," or "Quick check-in," rather than exclusive deals inside our weekly newsletter. The goal is to look like a person, not a promotion. Imagine if you are a local dentist in San Diego named Dr. Nguyen. You want to send an email about the importance of routine cleanings. A bad AI prompt would be, "Write a professional email about dental hygiene." The result will be a boring clinical lecture that people will delete. A professional 2026 prompt would be, "You are Dr. Nguyen, a friendly local dentist in San Diego. Write a short, plain text email to a patient who hasn't been in for 6 months. Mention the nice weather at Mission Beach lately. Keep the tone light and non-judgmental. Ask one simple question at the end to encourage a reply." The resulting email feels like a personal check-in. It breaks the barrier between the clinical and the personal. When the patient sees Mission Beach mentioned, they realize this isn't a corporate blast from a national dental chain. It is from their local dentist who actually lives in the same city. This is how you use technology to become more human, not less. To truly master the AI content multiplier, you should also use it to analyze your results. In 2026, you can export your engagement data and ask an AI to identify patterns. It might notice that your emails get 50% more opens when you mention a local sports team in the subject line. Or it might see that your subscribers in a specific zip code are much more likely to click on links related to outdoor services. This data-driven insight allows you to refine your local context file, making your future automated emails even more relevant. We have now built the machine, automated the triggers, and mastered the efficiency of AI content. But there is a looming threat that can bring this entire system to a screeching halt. In the United States, the legal landscape surrounding email data, privacy, and deliverability is becoming increasingly complex. If you make one wrong move with your list building or your opt-out process, you aren't just looking at a decrease in sales. You could be looking at significant fines and a permanent ban from major email providers. How do you stay on the right side of the law without needing a legal degree? And what is the specific technical setup you need to implement right now to ensure your emails don't get blocked by the new federal privacy filters being rolled out by the major tech hubs? In the next part, we are going into the high-stakes world of deliverability and legal compliance. We will break down the CAN-SPAM Act for 2026, the specific language you must have in your footer, and the one hidden setting in your email provider that determines whether you land in the inbox or the void. We are moving into the protection phase of your local empire in Part 7. The legal and technical landscape of email marketing in the United States has undergone a massive transformation as we reach 2026. If you are operating a local business, the days of just hitting send and hoping for the best are officially over. Major email providers like Google and Yahoo have implemented strict authentication requirements that, if ignored, will result in your emails being blocked before they even reach a spam folder. They simply cease to exist for your audience. This is not just about marketing efficiency. It is about the fundamental survival of your digital communication. To protect your local empire, you must master the technical trifecta of SPF, DKIM, and MARC. These might sound like intimidating technical acronyms, but they are essentially the digital passport and fingerprints that prove to the world that you are who you say you are. Historical trends show that until recently, many small businesses could get away with sending emails from a generic Gmail or Yahoo address. In 2026, that is a recipe for instant rejection. You must send from a custom domain associated with your business. But simply having a domain is not enough. Imagine a character named Mark who owns a successful HVAC company in Indianapolis. Mark has a list of 3,000 loyal customers. He sends out a seasonal maintenance reminder, but suddenly, his office phone stops ringing. He discovers that because he had not properly configured his DMARC policy, a bad actor was able to spoof his domain, sending out fraudulent emails that looked like they came from him. In response, Google and Outlook blacklisted his entire domain. Mark did not just lose a marketing channel. He lost the ability to send digital invoices and quotes to his active clients. To avoid Mark's scenario, the first step is SPF, or Sender Policy Framework. This is a simple DNS record you add to your domain host that lists exactly which mail servers are authorized to send email on your behalf. Think of it as a guest list for a private event. If a mail server tries to deliver an email from your domain, but is not on that list, the receiving server will view it with extreme suspicion. Step 2 is DKIM, or Domain Keys Identified Mail. This adds a cryptographic signature to every email you send. It is like a wax seal on a medieval letter. It proves that the content of the email was not tampered with while it was traveling across the internet. Finally, there is DMARC, which stands for Domain-Based Message Authentication, Reporting, and Conformance. This is the set of instructions you give to receiving servers on what to do if an email fails the SPF or DKIM check. In 2026, the standard for any professional U.S. business is a policy of P equals reject. This tells the world that if an email looks like it is from you, but lacks the proper credentials, it should be deleted immediately. Potential outcomes for businesses that implement this trifecta include a significant increase in deliverability rates and a near-total protection of their brand reputation from spoofing. Beyond the technical settings, you must strictly adhere to the updated CAN-SPAM Act regulations and the various state-level privacy laws like the California Consumer Privacy Act, which have set the tone for national standards in 2026. The core of these regulations is transparency. Every single email you send must include a clear and conspicuous physical postal address for your business. For many local businesses, this is their storefront or office. If you are a home-based business, you should use a registered P.O. box or a professional mailbox service to maintain privacy while staying compliant. Historical data indicates that emails lacking a physical address are flagged as high risk by modern spam filters. Equally important is the unsubscribe mechanism. In 2026, your unsubscribe link should not be hidden in a tiny font or masked by the same color as the background. It must be easy to find and, most importantly, it must be a one-click process. The law requires that you honor an opt-out request within 10 business days. But in the fast-paced 2026 environment, your email service provider should handle this instantly and automatically. If a customer in a city like Seattle or Austin feels trapped in your email list, they will not just ignore you. They will hit the spam report button. In the United States today, the spam report threshold has become incredibly tight. If more than 3 out of every 1,000 people mark your email as spam, your deliverability will start to tank. This is why list hygiene is not just a good idea. It is a legal and technical necessity. You should be proactively removing people who have not engaged with your content in the last 6 months. It feels counterintuitive to delete potential customers, but a smaller, highly engaged list is infinitely more valuable than a large, stagnant one that puts your entire domain at risk. Case studies of local law firms in Chicago show that by implementing a double opt-in process, where a subscriber must click a confirmation link in their first email, they were able to eliminate bot signups and ensure that every person on their list truly wanted to be there. While this might slow down your list's growth initially, the potential outcomes include a much higher open rate and a near-zero spam complaint rate. This is the gold standard for local business marketing in 2026. We must also address the issue of data privacy. As a local business, you are likely collecting more than just emails. You might have names, phone numbers, and even service histories. You have a legal and ethical obligation to protect this data. In 2026, U.S. consumers are hyper-aware of data breaches. Your email footer should include a link to a clear, easy-to-read privacy policy that explains exactly how you use their data and that you never sell it to third parties. Historical trends show that businesses that are transparent about their data practices enjoy higher levels of customer loyalty and trust. Imagine if your email marketing was so secure and so compliant that even the strictest corporate firewalls in your city allowed your messages through. This is the level of professionalism that separates a hobbyist from a true local authority. When you handle the technical and legal details with precision, you are sending a signal to your customers that you are a legitimate, trustworthy pillar of the community. You are showing that you respect their time, their inbox, and their privacy. Now that we have protected your empire from the void of the spam folder and the risks of legal non-compliance, we can shift our focus back to growth. But we are not just looking for any growth. We are looking for the kind of growth that happens when your customers become your most effective sales team. How do you turn a simple email into a viral referral engine for your local neighborhood? How do you incentivize your current subscribers to bring in their friends and family without sounding desperate or cheap? In the next part, we are going to dive into the local referral loop. We will explore the exact mechanics of a successful email-based referral program that works for dry cleaners, dentists, and dog walkers alike. We will reveal the one specific reward that local U.S. consumers value more than a cash discount, and the simple template you can send out next Tuesday to spark a wave of new word-of-mouth business. We are moving from the protection phase into the viral expansion phase in Part 8. How do you make your business the talk of the town through a single sent message? That is what is coming up next. To make your business the talk of the town through a single sent message, you must understand that in 2026, the most powerful marketing force in the United States is no longer a billion-dollar ad campaign. It is a personal recommendation from a trusted neighbor. For a local business, your email list is not just a collection of names. It is a network of networks. Every person on your list has a sphere of influence including family, coworkers, and friends who live within driving distance of your front door. The local referral loop is the strategic process of turning your existing subscribers into a voluntary, highly motivated sales force. Historical trends suggest that a lead generated through a referral is 4 times more likely to convert than a cold lead, and these customers typically have a 16% higher lifetime value. The reason most referral programs fail is that they feel transactional or, worse, like a chore for the customer. If you simply send an email saying refer a friend and get $5 off, you are asking your customer to sell out their friendships for a price that is lower than the cost of a gourmet cup of coffee. This approach creates friction because it lacks social currency. To build a viral expansion engine, you must pivot the focus from what the referrer gets to how the referrer looks. People in the United States in 2026 are highly motivated by status and the desire to be a local hero. You want your subscribers to feel like they are sharing a secret or providing a genuine benefit to their inner circle. Imagine a character named David who operates a residential pest control service in St. Louis, Missouri. In 2026, David realizes that traditional door-knocking and mailers are yielding diminishing returns as residents become more protective of their privacy. David decides to implement a local referral loop using a strategy we call the neighbor-to-neighbor safety check. Instead of a generic discount, David sends an email to his top 100 most loyal customers. The subject line is, "A gift for your neighbors on your street." Inside the email, David writes, "Hi, it is David. Because you have been a loyal client for 3 years, I wanted to give you something you can share with 3 of your neighbors in St. Louis. We have noticed an uptick in localized termite activity in your specific zip code this month. I have set aside 3 free 15-minute exterior safety inspections that you can gift to anyone on your block. It is completely free for them, and because it comes from you, they skip our 3-week waiting list. Step by step, let us analyze why this works. First, David is not asking for a favor. He is giving his customer a gift to distribute. This gives the customer social currency. They get to be the person who looked out for the neighborhood and provided a free, high-value service. Second, David uses localized scarcity and urgency by mentioning the specific zip code and the termite activity. Third, the potential outcome is that David gets 3 new homeowners on his schedule who already trust him because their neighbor, the person they see every morning, personally recommended him. Case studies of service-based businesses using this gift-based referral model show a 300% increase in referral volume compared to traditional cashback models. Now, let us look at the retail side with a character named Chloe, who owns a high-end clothing boutique in Charleston, South Carolina. Chloe uses the Bring a Friend Tea Party strategy. In 2026, people crave physical community and exclusive experiences more than ever. Chloe sends an email to her list with the subject line, "You are invited, plus a guest." The email invites her subscribers to a private, after-hours viewing of her new spring collection. The hook? The only way to get on the guest list is to bring a friend who has never been to the shop before. Both the subscriber and the friend receive a small, locally made scented candle as a thank you gift for attending. This creates a viral loop because it transforms shopping from a solo task into a social event. Chloe is not just selling clothes. She is hosting a gathering for the Charleston community. Historical data for local retail in 2026 indicates that social shopping events driven by email invitations have a 70% higher average transaction value than standard store hours. The reward here is not a discount. It is access and community. This is the one specific reward that local U.S. consumers value more than a cash discount in the current economy: the feeling of being part of an exclusive local inner circle. If you want to trigger this wave of word-of-mouth business next Tuesday, you can use what we call the Simple Tuesday template. This is a low-pressure, high-impact email designed to spark conversations. The subject line should be, "Can you do me a quick favor?" The body of the email says, "Hi, I am looking to help 2 or 3 more families in the Austin area with their landscaping before the summer heat hits. Since you know exactly how we work, would you mind forwarding this email to one person you know who is currently struggling with their curb appeal? If they reach out, I will make sure they get our neighbor rate as a thank you to you." The beauty of the forward this email call to action is its simplicity. It requires almost zero effort from your subscriber. They do not have to fill out a form or remember a code. They just hit forward. To track this effectively in 2026 without complex software, you can tell the new lead to just mention the name of the person who forwarded the email. This adds a human element to the first interaction. To truly scale this expansion, you must also look at the technical viral triggers you can embed in your emails. Every time you send a success story or a case study of a local job you finished, include a one-click share button that allows the subscriber to post the story directly to their local Nextdoor or Facebook community group. In many U.S. neighborhoods, Nextdoor has become the primary source of truth for local hiring. If your loyal customer shares a photo of the work you did on their home along with a link to your lead magnet, you are tapping into a massive, pre-vetted local audience for free. Potential outcomes for businesses that consistently run these referral loops include a drastic reduction in customer acquisition costs and a much more resilient business model. When the majority of your new business comes from your existing email list, you are no longer at the mercy of rising ad prices or algorithm changes. You have built a self-sustaining ecosystem. However, to keep this loop running, you must remember the rule of reciprocity. Every time a referral comes in, you must acknowledge the person who sent them. A simple handwritten thank you note or a personal email saying, "I just met with your friend Sarah. Thanks so much for the trust," goes a long way in ensuring they continue to refer you for years. We have now covered how to build the list, automate the message, use AI for efficiency, protect your domain, and turn your customers into a viral sales force. But there is one final piece of the puzzle that most local business owners completely ignore. They do all this work, but they have no idea if it is actually making them more money. They look at open rates and click rates, but they fail to connect those numbers to the actual dollars in their bank account. How do you measure the true ROI of your email marketing without becoming a data scientist? And what is the one single metric in 2026 that tells you if your local business is going to thrive or fail in the next 12 months? In the next part, we are going to dive into the masterclass of measurement and analytics. We will break down the 3 numbers that actually matter for a local US business and how to ignore the vanity metrics that keep you distracted. We will reveal the secret to the revenue per subscriber calculation and how you can use it to predict your income for the next quarter with startling accuracy. We are moving into the final stages of the masterclass, where we turn data into raw power in part 9. How do you know exactly which email made you the most money this month? We are uncovering the truth next. To know exactly which email made you the most money this month, you must stop looking at your email service provider's dashboard as the final source of truth. In 2026, vanity metrics like open rates and click-through rates have become increasingly unreliable due to privacy shields and automated bot filters used by major providers like Apple and Google. A 40% open rate sounds impressive in a vacuum, but if those opens are coming from a privacy proxy and not a paying customer in your local neighborhood, the data is essentially noise. To turn your analytics into raw power, you must implement a system of closed-loop attribution. This is the process of connecting a digital click to a physical transaction at your storefront or a booked appointment on your calendar. Historical trends show that local business owners often feel overwhelmed by data, leading them to ignore it entirely. This is a strategic mistake that prevents you from identifying your most profitable opportunities. In 2026, there are 3 numbers that actually matter for a U.S. local business, and everything else is secondary. The first and most critical metric is your revenue per subscriber, or RPS. To calculate this, you take the total revenue generated from your email campaigns over a 30-day period and divide it by the total number of people on your list. Imagine a character named Thomas who owns an electrical contracting business in Phoenix, Arizona. Thomas has a list of 1,200 past customers and local leads. In October 2026, he sends 4 emails: 2 educational tips about search protection, 1 community update about a local charity event, and 1 promotional offer for a whole home electrical audit. Through tracking, Thomas determines that these emails directly resulted in 24 audits and 6 subsequent repair jobs, totaling $9,600 in revenue. By dividing $9,600 by 1,200 subscribers, Thomas finds his RPS for October is $8. This number is the heartbeat of your business. Once Thomas knows that each name on his list is worth $8 per month in potential outcomes, he can make informed decisions about his marketing budget. If he knows he can acquire a new local email subscriber through a targeted Facebook ad for $4, he knows he has a high probability of doubling his investment within the first 30 to 60 days. Historical data from local service niches suggests that an RPS between $5 and $15 is the benchmark for a healthy, well-optimized local list in the United States. If your RPS is below $2, you are likely either not sending enough offers or your content is not resonating with your local audience's current needs. The second metric that matters is your click-to-appointment ratio. This measures the efficiency of your call to action. If 100 people click a link in your email to view a service page, but only 2 of them book an appointment, you don't have an email problem, you have a landing page problem. In 2026, U.S. consumers expect a frictionless transition from their inbox to your booking system. Case studies of local medical practices in Boston show that by reducing the number of fields on their booking form from 7 down to 3, they were able to double their click-to-appointment ratio overnight. Step by step, you should be using UTM parameters to track this behavior. A UTM parameter is a simple snippet of text added to the end of your URL that tells your website exactly where the visitor came from. A link in your email would look like yourwebsite.com/booking UTM_source =email UTM_campaign =winter special. When someone lands on your site with that link and completes a booking, your analytics software, whether it is Google Analytics 4 or a local CRM, can attribute that specific dollar amount back to that specific email. This allows you to see which topics, such as emergency repair versus preventative maintenance, are actually driving high-value leads rather than just curious clicks. The third metric is the list health velocity. This is the relationship between your new subscribers and your churn rate, which includes unsubscribes and bounced emails. In the current economy of 2026, if you are not growing your list by at least 5% every month, your business is effectively shrinking due to the natural attrition of people moving out of the area or changing their contact information. Imagine if you are a local real estate agent in Seattle named Chloe. If Chloe gains 20 new subscribers a month but loses 15 to unsubscribes, her net growth is only 5. If her RPS is $10, she only added $50 in monthly potential revenue. To scale, Chloe must identify why people are leaving. Are they unsubscribing after the 4th email? If so, that is where her content is failing. One of the most powerful tools for local tracking in 2026 is the secret word or digital coupon. This is particularly effective for retail and food and beverage businesses where online booking isn't always the primary goal. Imagine a local coffee shop owner in Nashville who sends an email about a new seasonal latte. He includes a line at the bottom: mention the word Bluebird at the register this week for a free size upgrade. By tracking how many times Bluebird was mentioned, the owner has a perfect, low-tech way to measure the offline impact of his online efforts. Case studies suggest that this method often reveals that email marketing is driving 30 to 40% more foot traffic than what shows up in digital click tracking alone. But there is one single metric in 2026 that tells you if your local business is going to thrive or fail in the next 12 months. the subscriber engagement frequency. This is the percentage of your list that has opened or clicked at least one email in the last 90 days. In the United States today, inbox competition is so fierce that if a subscriber hasn't engaged with you in 3 months, they have essentially forgotten you exist. A healthy local business should aim for a subscriber engagement frequency of at least 60%. If your number is lower, you are at risk of being moved to the promotions tab by AI-driven filters that interpret a lack of engagement as a lack of interest. To truly turn this data into raw power, you must conduct a monthly winner-loser analysis. Look at the email that generated the highest revenue and the email that generated the lowest. Was it the subject line, the time of day, the specific local event you mentioned? Historical trends indicate that local businesses often find their winners are the emails that feel the most personal and the least like a sales pitch. By doubling down on what the data shows is working, you can systematically increase your RPS month after month. We have now reached the summit of our deep dive masterclass. You have the lead magnets, the automation, the AI efficiency, the legal protection, the referral loops, and the analytical framework to dominate your local market. You are no longer just a business owner. You are a sophisticated digital marketer with a physical presence. But there is one final, overarching question. How do you tie all of this together into a cohesive daily routine that doesn't take over your entire life? How do you move from the setup phase into the long-term legacy phase where your email list becomes a multi-generational asset for your business? In the final part of this masterclass, we are going to look at the local empire roadmap. We will break down the 10-minute-a-day routine that keeps this entire machine running at peak performance. We will reveal the secret to scaling your email efforts into other local channels like local sponsorships and community events. And most importantly, we will look at the psychological shift you must make to stop being a seeker of customers and start being a magnet for your community. We are closing the loop and showing you the path to total local dominance in Part 10. What is the one thing you must do tomorrow morning to start this journey? That is where we end the masterclass. The one thing you must do tomorrow morning is sit down with a blank piece of paper and write down the names of 10 people in your community who already have the attention of your ideal customers. These are the gatekeepers, the local realtor, the head of the PDA, the owner of the most popular coffee shop, or the coach of the local youth soccer league. This list is the foundation of your local empire roadmap. In 2026, the transition from a struggling local business to a community landmark happens through the strategic integration of your digital presence with your physical community. You are no longer just sending emails. You are building a legacy asset that appreciates in value every time you hit send. Let us break down the local empire roadmap into a manageable 10-minute-a-day routine. Most business owners fail because they view marketing as a massive, overwhelming project that they only tackle when sales are low. This creates a feast or famine cycle that is exhausting and unsustainable. Historical trends suggest that businesses that commit to small, consistent daily actions see a 300% higher retention rate than those that rely on sporadic, high-intensity campaigns. In your first 2 minutes, you perform the reply audit. You go into your inbox and personally respond to every single person who replied to your automated sequences. In 2026, these replies are the highest quality leads you possess. If a local resident takes the time to type a message to you, they are giving you their most valuable resource, their attention. By responding personally, you are reinforcing the human element that no national competitor can replicate. Imagine if you are Sam, a local orthodontist in Charlotte. A parent replies to your automated welcome email, asking a simple question about Invisalign. If Sam replies within 4 hours with a personalized video note, he has effectively won that customer for life before they ever step foot in the office. The next 3 minutes are spent on the metric pulse. You check one specific number. Yesterday, we talked about revenue per subscriber and list health velocity. Today, you look at your unengaged segment. If you see a cluster of people who haven't opened an email in 60 days, you spend these 3 minutes triggering a specialized re-engagement sequence. Potential outcomes for businesses that stay on top of their list hygiene daily include a 40% higher deliverability rate over the long term, because the ISPs recognize you as a sender who only talks to people who want to listen. The final 5 minutes are dedicated to the content seed. This is where you use the AI content multiplier we discussed in Part 6. You take one observation from your morning, perhaps a beautiful sunrise over the local park or a funny comment from a customer, and you record a quick voice memo. This is the raw material your AI will use to draft your next weekly update. By doing this daily, you never face the blank page syndrome. You are simply documenting your life as a local leader. Now, let us look at how this roadmap scales your email list into other local channels. In 2026, your email list is not just a marketing tool. It is a currency you can trade for local influence. Imagine you are Elena, who owns a boutique floral shop in Savannah. Elena has built a list of 2,500 local residents who love her weekly gardening tips. She reaches out to the organizer of the Savannah Home and Garden Show and says, "I have 2,500 active, local homeowners who open my emails every Thursday. I would like to offer them a special early bird ticket to your event in exchange for a featured booth at the entrance." Because Elena has the data to prove her list's engagement, she is no longer asking for a favor. She is offering a high-value partnership. This is how you use your email list to dominate local events and sponsorships. You are the one bringing the audience. Historical data from 2026 show that local businesses with an engaged email list of over 1,000 people have a significantly easier time negotiating favorable terms with local vendors, landlords, and event organizers. Your list is your leverage. But the most significant shift you must make as you complete this masterclass is psychological. You must stop being a seeker of customers and start being a magnet for your community. This is the digital mayor mindset. A seeker is always asking, "How can I get more sales?" A magnet is always asking, "How can I provide more value to my neighbors today?" When you become a magnet, the sales become a byproduct of your local authority. Imagine if your business became the central hub for local news and resources. If there is a road closure in your neighborhood, you mention it in your email. If a local charity is having a food drive, you promote it. If a neighbor is looking for a recommendation for a trustworthy dog walker, you provide it. By becoming the person who helps everyone else, you ensure that when anyone needs what you sell, you are the only person they think of. This is the long-term legacy phase. Case studies of businesses that have operated with this mindset for decades show that they are nearly immune to economic downturns. During the shifts of the early 2020s, businesses that had a direct, trust-based relationship with their local audience through email were the ones that survived, while those relying solely on foot traffic or third-party platforms struggled. In 2026, this is even more critical. You are building a business that can be passed down to your children or sold at a massive premium, because you aren't just selling a service, you are selling a community. To visualize the scale of this, imagine if you wanted to sell your landscaping business in 5 years. A buyer looks at two companies. Company A has 10 trucks and some equipment. Company B has the same equipment plus a verified, segmented, and highly engaged email list of 5,000 local homeowners who view the owner as a trusted advisor. Company B will command a valuation that is significantly higher because the buyer is acquiring a predictable, automated revenue engine. Your email list is the most valuable asset on your balance sheet, even if your accountant doesn't know how to categorize it yet. This roadmap is not a sprint. It is the construction of a permanent digital infrastructure. It starts tomorrow morning with that list of 10 people. It continues with your 10-minute routine. It grows through your local partnerships and is protected by your technical and legal diligence. You have the tools, the templates, and the strategy to move from being an invisible local business to becoming an indispensable local icon. The potential outcomes for your business are limited only by your consistency. We have seen local dry cleaners turn into multi-location empires and local independent bookstores become national cultural hubs, all fueled by the power of a simple, direct, and honest email relationship. The United States market in 2026 rewards authenticity, localization, and value above all else. As you close this masterclass, I want you to remember that the most successful email you will ever send is the one you send next. Do not wait for perfection. Do not wait until you have the perfect lead magnet or the perfect AI prompt. Start with what you have where you are and speak to your neighbors like the friends they are. The era of the local business is not over. It is just being rewritten in the inbox. What happens when you finally break past that first 1,000 subscribers? How does the game change when you have the power to influence your entire city with a single click? We have covered the foundation, the machine, and the growth, but the story of your business is just beginning. Every name on your list is a story, a family, and a potential lifelong relationship. Treat them with respect, provide them with value, and watch as your local empire grows one inbox at a time. The roadmap is in your hands. It is time to take the first step.